Now, the local football fraternity is still reeling after news of legendary coach and administrator Stanley Screamer Tshabalala's passing. Tshabalala succumbed to injuries sustained in a shooting at his house in Centurion about 3 months ago. Newzroom Afrika's Benjamin Leshoro is outside the family residence and he joins us live now. Benjamin, a sad time for South African football, for South African sport, as it were. You have been there outside the Tshabalala house. What is the situation at the moment?
Good afternoon, Kwena. To take the words right out of the president of the association, Danny Jordan's mouth, that it is a sad day in South African football, a dark cloud over South African sport. And it's very sad here at the family residence in Centurion also. We have just had a bit of an interaction with one family member just around 2 minutes ago, actually, and you could see in their eyes it cuts deep, and you would understand how a man who's loved by his family, who's loved by the community at large, would be deeply missed like that. And fresh as it is right now, he passed on yesterday, and you'd understand why the wounds are still very fresh at the moment. During the time, I beg your pardon, that we've been here at the residence, there hasn't been much traffic, Kwena, since a couple of hours that we got here. It's just been a few family members that are coming in and going out, going about their business. You'd imagine some preparations being done inside the residence here. And there's just largely been online reaction that continues about 24 hours since the passing of Stan. And in fact, there's been a statement released by the Premier Soccer League just around 10 minutes ago. It says the PSL extends heartfelt condolences to the Tshabalala family, Orlando Pirates Football Club, and the football community at large. Stan's larger-than-life persona leaves an irreplaceable void, and he'll be deeply missed by all who knew him. That's just one of the tributes that are still coming in since the passing of Stanley Screamer Tshabalala, Kwena.
Well, Benji, and I mean, a lot of sports and football people would remember the time that he spent at Orlando Pirates as an administrator. But of course, he is one of the founding members of Kaizer Chiefs, the father of Shushan and Piano, but most importantly, the first black South African to coach Bafana Bafana. And those are just some of the accolades that Stan Screamer Tshabalala has had and the contribution that he has made, not only to sport, but to football in the country.
Absolutely, Kwena. You speak of him being the first South African to coach Bafana Bafana. And back then, it would not have been known as Bafana Bafana in the early days, just the national team, I suppose. And he was recruited by the late Solomon Sticks Morewa, who was then a high-ranking member of the Football Association. He later, of course, became the president of the South African Football Association. But he was recruited by him to try and put together a team of players from each club in the country. And in one of the programs that he was doing in the past few years, he explained to some of the legends how it came that he was able to choose some of the players in a very funny way, as Stan was. And he spoke about how he wasn't sure that the likes of David Nyati and Steve Kompela were really South Africans. If you know David Nyati, know Steve Kompela, you know how dark they are in complexion. So he had to make sure, he had to ask around and make triple check that they are really South Africans. And those were some of the first ever members of the Bafana Bafana team. We know Steve Kompela went on to captain the team at a later stage as well, although he wasn't able to make it to the team that won the Nations Cup in the mid-90s.
Well, Benji, we're going to have to park it there, but we will indeed keep touching base as we continue paying tribute to Stanley Screamer Tshabalala. And as Benjamin says, a man who was quite, witty, always ready to share a joke or two, but very passionate about his sport. Played for Kaizer Chiefs, as I did mention, was very instrumental in creating the shoeshine and piano. Had a stint at Morocco Swallows, so clearly has paid his dues as far as football is concerned.